Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you I have another Gunner Heat PC video. This is part 3 of my campaign in the Fulda Gap as Nato, and I am doing another defensive mission. I'm actually going to be moving forward here, and this mission gets kind of hot kind of quick. I pretty much got to the point of figuring out the position of my forces versus their possible attack by looking at the map. And then essentially I start to maneuver into position. And, well, you're going to see here in a minute what happens. But, yeah, today I'm going to be playing the old Dino tank. For those of you who don't know, that's what us tankers call the old tanks. So, pretty much, for me, the M60 was the Dino. Now, for the M60 crewman, the M48 would have been the Dino. That would have been the old tank. I was an Abrams crewman. Now, the one thing to mention, too, is it is actually a little bit harder here to use the M60 than it is the Abrams. And what that has to do with is the fire control system is not integrated into the tank itself. It's a retrofit, and the retrofit's not completely tied into the system, if you will, although it does work for the most part. Alright, so I decide to shift around here. And I'm going to go on this position here. I'm actually going to fight from this hill. I'm going to tuck in behind here. Since now that I have a rough idea of where the enemy is going to be coming from. And this is definitely a tank you want to stay hulled down in. Because this thing, it's not anywhere near as survivable as the M1 Abrams. Now, admittedly speaking, I did have some FPS issues here. I'm not sure why. But I mean, it got down to like 10 FPS. It was like, oh, this is making this so much harder. Like watching screenshots. So I engaged these two tanks from here, which this tree did not help. This tree was blocking my sight. And of course, I don't want to stick myself out too much because pretty much everything on the battlefield can kill an M60 at this point of the Cold War. See, right now this tree is just blocking my vision. It was hard for me to get a good laze right there, but I did get a good laze and a hit. Now I'm going to peek out a bit more to get a better view here. And at that point, the enemy had just disappeared. Like, as soon as they showed up, they were gone. So I end up actually maneuvering a bit more. So I ended up driving up over this hill that I'm alongside of, is what I did next. And basically what it comes down to is I was hearing 50 cal fire from the M113s in the distance, and then I found all this. This is where things gets exciting. So there we go, we got a BMP. Oh, I'm kind of going shit here with the gunnery sight. There we go. We got a hit on the T-55. We got another T-55. And they're not quite catching on to where my position is yet. There we go. There's another T-55. He starts trying to traverse his turret over to where I am. Now that one knows roughly where I am. Alright, there's a hit. We actually got a hit on the gun barrel. There's a second hit. Oh, and now this BMP knows where I... Oh, no, he didn't notice me. That was my thought at the time, though, is I thought that BMP knew where I was. So once again, the enemy is just being completely caught off guard on the flank, not even realizing that there's 3 M60s sitting here on their flank. We got some more BMPs. A lot of BMPs in this formation, although there were still some tanks. There we go. There's another BMP. Okay, he's smoking, so I'm looking for the next one So what I decided to do was press up and get on the other side of this dead M113 because, well, yeah, he's the best cover I can get in the middle of literally the middle of a farmer's field that the enemy's pushing. And it did work. You see that shot hit that M113. Now, I had kind of an issue here with my gunnery scope. Gunnery scope didn't work properly for a little bit there. There we go. Got that BMP with the very last shot I had in my tank, or at least in my ready rack. So I just stayed right here. I figure it's fine. I'm mostly covered, and I have friendly M60s with me. The enemy looks like they're not even pushing us anymore on Access 2. So I'm just going to sit here and restock for a little bit. After I got done restocking, I only restocked a couple shells. I didn't do a full restock. I started scanning targets, and I noticed this guy doesn't look dead. Now, the first shot I fired ended up actually hitting the M013 that I was using for cover. There we go. There's a second shot. And that wraps this mission up. But as you can see, it got quite hairy there. And it was like a really high intense short firefight. So losses in total, we would lose, the U.S. would lose 7. Equipment lost, we would lose 4. And what it come down to is we lost an M60 and a bunch of M113s. Meanwhile, the enemy lost 21 crewmen and 12 vehicles. That's, you know, that's pretty much 3-1. I'm pretty pleased with those results all the way around. But anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this Gunner Heat PC video. And I'll have another Gunner Heat PC video coming at you sometime soon. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful day.